Hello, hello. Sir David the Bard. Coming to you. I'm down here at home here in Kangaroo City. I just got done feeding the kangaroos and thought I'd sit down and chat with myself for a few minutes. If you want to eavesdrop, be my guest. Be my guest. I had a little situation happen just half an hour ago. I was driving my brand new car. Oh, I'm in love. Marie Osmond, you ain't got nothing. This car has got everything. And it's new. There's no parts worn out. Anyway, I came up on a red light. I couldn't tell if it was red or green. It's just that I know it's at the bottom is, I think, is green at the bottom. In fact, I don't even remember. But when I see the other cars moving, I assume they don't all want a ticket. So the Bard gets right in there behind them. And there's a man, and he was standing there with a cardboard sign, and resonating through my mind is the phrase, life isn't fair. Life isn't fair. Now, I'm not telling you something you don't know. I'm not telling you a damn thing you don't know. We've all experienced life is not fair. Here I am passing by with, 35,000 new car, Michael Jackson music, stereo speakers. I used to think if they moved the mirrors, that was cool. But this car, the doors move. So anyway, I'm enjoying it. And it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. So here's this poor man standing out there. I don't know if he bought those clothes or he dressed up that way. I don't know if that's his job. I don't know if that's his business. But he was standing there trying to get money. And as the light changed, then there would be a new group of people that he could try to get money from. And I happened to have a couple of dollars in the council. And so I put my hand out and gave him $1. Well, the car in front of me saw me do that. They put $1 out. And the car in front of him, they put $1 out. Now, here's the principle. I don't care what he did with the money. Could have bought cigarettes. Oh, the Mormons love that. Could have drank himself to death. That doesn't matter what he did with the money. What matters is that at least I gave the money, along with my other associates in line there. Life isn't fair. And I've been thinking about this for the last 45 minutes. And I thought, well, did I make it $1 fair? My answer is yes. I made it $1 fair. I didn't make life fair, but I made it more fair. And it's just Coke, Diet Coke. Ain't doing much, but it makes me feel better if it's Diet Coke. Here's what I'm suggesting. I don't know why life isn't fair. I have no idea more than you. I don't know why you and I are born here in the United States and there's millions of people all over the world tonight that don't have enough food to eat, or safety, or hiding from rebels and guns and war and starvation and disease. I don't know. I'm grateful. Gosh, I'm grateful. I don't blame Jesus or God. I don't blame anybody. I just don't know how the crapshoot goes. We got a notice on Mercy's parents. They have an interview now at the Manila U.S. Embassy to come to the United States. They'll be here in 3 or 4 weeks. After all that money and all that work, we got 2 more out. Is life fair? There's millions there starving. But by bringing 2 more out, I made it more fair. More fair. That's what we need to look at in life. You and I can't change the way the entire world is set up. Can't do that. But if I give $1 and you give $1, I have 1.2 million hits. What if every one of them gave $1? What if every one of them gave $1? The world would be more fair. Now here, the Mormons that watch me, some of them are still active. They'll give 10% of their income. They'll make $2,000 a month. They'll give $200 to the Mormon Church, but they won't give $2 to the bum standing there, because the Mormon cult has told them, you know, he may drink that away, and you don't want that wasted. Send it up here to Salt Lake so we can give it to the apostles and to the investment Bonneville corporation and buy another radio station. And some of you are still stupid enough to do that. So it's not fair. But you know what? I got 5. I got 5 out of the Philippines. The disease, the desolation, the sadness, no teeth, never saw a doctor, never slept on a bed, slept on the ground, shit on the ground, pissed on the ground. 1 handful of rice a day, if you're lucky, and sometimes not even that. My little Philippine wife brings some of her culture, of course, into my life, and it used to bother me. I don't like clutter. That's why I divorced 5 women. I don't like laziness and I don't like clutter. But anyway, she would put a bag of rice in plain sight in the kitchen. And I said to her, we've got plenty of cupboards, why don't you put that in a cupboard? And she says, you don't understand. Well, I didn't. I had to go several months thinking. When they see that bag, they know they're going to eat tonight. When they see that bag, they know there's enough rice that tonight at least they're going to eat. I leave the bag there in plain sight, and I'm buying a bag upstairs for Grandpa and Grandma because it brings them such comfort, such peace and harmony in their life. They'll come to me with no teeth, haven't ever seen a doctor, probably high blood pressure. He's a few years older than I am. Probably maybe some diabetes. Who knows what we're going to find. But we're going to make life a little better, at least for them. And if I do this, and you do this, and the 1.2 million people do this, does that make the world fair? I don't know. Is it enough? I don't think so. What if 2.2 billion people gave $1? I didn't miss anything in life by giving $1. Now some of you out there that watch me, I know you're struggling. And there was a time, I'm not talking down to anybody, I'm saying we. There was a time $1, I couldn't even get $1. This time I couldn't even have enough money for a phone call. Back in those days you had to put them in the booth. I'd go to the booth and see if it was payday, see if the change was in there. Life wasn't fair then, or pleasurable. And I have to say, no one gave me $1. Maybe you're in the same situation. Nobody made my life more fair. I had to do it myself. And I've been down in the mud and the blood and the beer, freezing my ass off, putting windows in and the wind and snow and glass sliding through my hands. I don't even feel it because the hands are so cold. And then see the blood following me in the snow and going, oh shit, I'm cut again. Told you yesterday I fell down. First time I've ever fallen down in my life. physically. Mentally, emotionally, financially, I'm always falling down. But I felt silly. Skinned my knees pretty good. Got my foot caught in one of the straps of my daughter's kids' sleeping bags and paraphernalia that was at the front door. Was that fair? It wasn't my fault. Damn kids. Life right now is not fair. But you know what I'm saying? You and I can put $1 in and make it more fair. More fair. Whether it will be fair, I can't predict. I don't know. I don't know what the bum was going to do with my $1. I don't care. I lifted his life $1. Not a lot. But the car in front was another $1. And the car in front was another $1. I was reading this article in Georgia where they found a black man hung dead from a tree. Now you're all too young, you're all way too young to remember the days that was not uncommon. In the 60s, when I was growing up, black men hanging from trees, that was pretty common in every southern state. Pretty common in every southern state. I've lived through the Civil Rights Act, Johnson, 1964. I was, aware when Martin Luther King died, listened to him, watched him march. I've been in the South during that time. I didn't march with Martin Luther King. I'm not Mitt Romney, okay? I never met Mitt or Martin, neither one. I took a trip down south a couple times in my youth and saw the devastation and the poverty and the disease. And I said this once before on a video, but I've got enough of them now, you'll probably never hear it. I pulled into a gas station down in Georgia, Mississippi, and a guy came out, he was black, and I said, fill it up, will you please? And he goes, sure. And he filled it up, and we went in to pay, and in those days, you took your credit card in, and they had this roller that they rolled across your credit card, and it made an extra copy of it, and then somehow all that got together, and they got their money. Well, there's another black man sitting in there, and they're both probably late 20s, maybe early 30s. And then the guy said to me, what state are you from? You had to have that on the credit card. And he had to write it in. And I said, well, I'm from the state of Utah. He goes, no. What state in the United States are you from? I said, Utah! He turns to his friend, and he says, there ain't no state Utah. And his friend goes, no, there ain't no state Utah. I said, guys, go look at the license plate on the car. So they both walk out there. They look at each other and say, I'll be damned, there is a license plate that says a Utah. Is life fair? Did they get a good education? Were they discriminated against? Were their parents hanging from trees? Were their sisters and brothers blown up in the, the Baptist church? And George Wallace, the governor, standing at the front door of the school, not letting the little black kids come into the school? Is it more fair now? Yeah, it's more fair now. Is it totally fair now? No. And when I hire a black person that does a good job and is supporting a family, and you do, and all the people in that line do, then suddenly we have some diversity. Suddenly we have young men who would rather go to work and have the possibility of a new car than throwing Molotov cocktails into police cars and burning down their own city. someone needs to tell the black people, when you riot, go to the white neighborhood. When you burn your own place down, it makes it worse. Where you live, you burn the grocery store down, where are you going to go for food? You blow up the gas station, where are you going to go for gas? So my advice to all the black people is when you riot, take a damn bus over to the white suburbs and burn down the mall, burn down that shit, and then you're making a message. But the only message you made there in Baltimore and Watts and other places is that you're upset. I still have a mall to shop at, I still have a new car, I still have my home, and I just watch you on TV thinking, well, it's better than the Mickey Mouse show. So anyway, I'm just giving black people my instinct and my advice. Now here's what I found not fair. The black man they just found in Georgia is pretty gruesome. I saw a picture of him hanging from the tree, and with his neck broken or whatever, and I don't know, his neck slit. It was gruesome. 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 To mention. Anyway. The officials in Georgia have ruled it a suicide. The officials in Georgia said that this man wrapped a rope around his own neck, climbed into the tree, and I guess jumped out of the tree. Now, I can see why black people get angry. They think the white man expects that to be the truth, and the black people are going to say, oh, the poor man, what was wrong with him? Hanging outside on a tree, being black, is a message. I don't think he jumped off of that tree. I think the KKK helped him climb the tree and shorten the rope. Is life fair? No. But I've hired a couple of black people, did a good job. I fired one black person, did a terrible job. But if each one of us puts $1 in the pot, then we're going to have less poverty, less crime, and a more fair life. Now, I have to tell you, you got to keep your eye on the goal. $10, $20, $200, $1,000. It is not going to change the world, but it will change the world of the people who get the money. Maybe for a half an hour, a day. That little Filipino with rice in their hand can buy a candy bar that they've never tasted chocolate in their life. Saw a little Filipino boy when I was at the beach, the white tourist, pulling a rock. Pulling a rock with a string. He never had ever a toy. Never. He didn't have a little car to pull or a little truck, something to play with. He had to tie a string on a rock and pretend it had wheels. I've tried to make it a little more fair. I got 5. How many did you get? How many did you get? And I'm not talking down. I'm not exploding my head. I didn't buy a vacation house in Vermont. I really wanted an airplane. That's my dream. Marie Osmond panties on my head flying in the wind like Snoopy and me flying the airplane. I didn't buy a $40,000, $50,000 airplane. I don't take vacations. I had 1 or 2 teeth that I had to have pulled out. Usually I put them right back in with a dentist, of course, and I didn't. because I had money going into the Philippines to bring my wife and my children over here. I sold my clothes. I left my apartment, paid off the rent, and the only thing I had were basically a few pairs of clothes, 2 teeth gone, no money, and I'd sent it all to the Philippines, to the embassy, and Manila, for hotel rooms and airfares and physicals, all the things that are required with immigration. When I got Mercy to this country, I had nowhere to put her. My son Dan let us sleep on his floor in his house. And from there, we built this. From there, we have 3 new cars in our family right now. I never had a new car until I was 30. But I got 3 right now. Why? Why do I have that? And when I go to the Philippines into the orphanage, those kids have nothing. Well, spent $20 or $30, went down and bought them little Chinese toys and things that they could play with, that they could pull a little car with a string rather than a rock. We have to keep our eyes on the goal. You and I can't do much, but we can do something. And when we join together, especially as Americans, look what we built. We had nothing when we broke away from Britain, except a Revolutionary War. Look what we built. $1 at a time. Keep our eyes on the goal. Now let me give you an example of keeping your eye on the goal. Is my eye. You know this new car? Yeah. It has so many buttons. A 747. Now I've flown 747s on my simulator. It's a beautiful plane. It flies very easy. Automatic pilot and automatic all the shit. And I don't even know half of it. Well, my car, I've been on it now a week. I don't know half of it. I don't know half of it. But it has this radar on it where I set the speed control and the car says, okay, that's where I'm going to go. And if I start to get too close to a car in front of me, it actually applies the brakes on my car, slows me down, and keeps the distance exactly where it needs to be. Now, I don't know how that works. I've got it to work many times, and it was extremely dependable. Today, I turn it on, and I look at the little green light down on the dashboard, and I think, hell, it's on. And come to an intersection, cars stop, the lights are red, and I'm going 55 miles an hour, and I'm 3 feet off the tail of the car at the light. I screamed, Jesus, take the wheel. And then I knew there was no Jesus. It was the Bart. I had to take the wheel. And I had to set the brake. So it was off today 2 or 3 times. And I said, that's damn dangerous, especially for old people, because we depend upon that. We're looking around, and we think it's going to break if someone's in front of us, and someone was in front of me. Dead ass stopped. Now, here's what I mean when I say we have to keep our eye on the right goal and the right lights. I got my glasses over there at the big store, and they're trifocals. Now, I don't know if you can get quad focals. I've had quad bypass. Do they have quad focals? 5 focals? I'm just getting to an age where every inch I look up or down, it's a different away from me. So anyway, I got the trifocals. Why do I have trifocals? And the guy standing at the side, he had nothing. Well, I get in my car, and now I can see the dashboard. And I'm looking at the green light, that's the radar for the cruise control, and it's not. It's for the automatic stop, which is an entirely different system. Step on the brake, car won't go anywhere. It locks right where you step on the brake. Now, I've been looking at the wrong green light. That's why I was flying through town at 60 when I had the speed control set at 34. Keep our eyes on the right lights. We can't change it all, but we can put $1 in, and that did change something for a short period of time. You're not in position. I've been so lucky to be able to meet Filipinos and be able to have at least barely minimum enough money. You know, it's cost me a good $20,000 to $30,000 each one to get to the United States. I didn't get a house in Vermont. I didn't get an airplane, and I did get a car. So I got 1/3 of the things I've wanted and still been able to help out. Life is better for 5 people because of me, not Jesus. Jesus didn't get 1 out. Muhammad, he didn't get 1 out. Buddha, he didn't get 1 out. You and I are responsible for how the world is. We don't agree with wars. We don't agree with selfishness and rich men hoarding money and starving people. We don't have a lot of money to put into the pot. But damn, you put $1 in and I'll put $1 in when we have it, and the world is going to be a better place for a short period of time. So let the Mormons buy big buildings and cattle ranches and things that nobody needs. Let them ignore the poor among themselves. I talked to a Mormon last Sunday. Had a very nice dinner, lunch with the man, Mother's Day, and he told me how poverty-stricken he was in his family, and he was a good Mormon, and he went to the bishop to ask for some help, and the bishop said, no, we don't pay bills. Been there, done that. But I saw a counselor in the state presidency owned a Shell gas station, and he didn't have enough money to put gas in the ground, so he went to the state president, you know, like they're not friends, and said, could I get $10,000 to buy gas to put in the ground so I can support my family? They wrote him that check. Been there, seen it, with my own eyes, my own ears. These are not rumors. They're not things that my uncle said that his brother and his mother once and his cousin. These are things I've seen. They're principles of life. It's never going to be fair with those kinds of men in powerful positions. Leadership is sometimes the worst of them. But I got $1. I made the world a little bit better today for one person. And next week I'm bringing over 2 more from abject poverty their whole life. And I bought them a new bed upstairs. And Mercy said, well, Dad is probably going to sleep on the floor. Grandpa has never slept in a bed. At least it's there. And there's a bag of rice over in the corner that he can always look at and know he's never going to be hungry again. Never. So, let the Mormons scream, Pele Ale. O God, hear the words of my mouth 3 times in the true order of prayer. Let them try to scare me by slitting my throat. They want my money. If I don't give it to them, they'll rip my heart out. And if I expose them for using the money for themselves and not for the poor or the needy, and their humanitarian fund is a joke, they'll rip out my stomach. And when they say, Bart, how you doing? I'm going to say, hey, health in the navel, marrow in the bones, strength in the loins and in the sinews, power in the priesthood be upon me and upon my posterity, throughout all generations of time, through all generations of time, and throughout eternity. How are you doing, Mormon Church? Did you put your dollars in? I don't think so. Okay, this bar's gone.